Okay, so yesterday our test was on what type of equations? What type of equations? One step and two step. Okay. Do you think that there might be a 3-step or a 4-step? Yes. It's called multi-step equations. Okay. So that's what we're moving on to today. Somebody read the learning target for me. Raise your hand if you want to read it. On Carlos.
I can solve equations with variables on both sides.
With variables on both sides. Have we seen problems with variables on both sides yet?
No, ma'am.
Probably in a lifetime.
Yes.
Recently we haven't. But think back when we first started learning about equations. Do you remember if we saw something with variables on both sides?
Yeah.
Yes. Because you're going, yes.
The coins in the pouches, remember when we did that?
Yeah.
Did we have pouches were our variables, right?
Yeah.
Coins were our numbers.
Yeah.
Did we have problems where we had pouches on both sides?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. See? I have pouches on both sides of my equal sign. So that's basically the same thing. We already learned how to do this. We just learned how to do it with coins and pouches. So now we're going to learn how to do it just simply with math. Okay? So I'm going to pass out our notes real quick. I should have done this before.
I was trying to turn around. I should have turned around this way.
Alright, so somebody tell me if you remember what my main goal was when we were solving our equations with the pouches and the coins. To find how many coins were in a pouch. But what was our main goal before we got to that point?
Wait, no, this is to have coins on one side.
To get our answer? Yeah, to have coins on one side and pouches on one side, right? I couldn't solve for my pouches until I had all numbers on one side and all pouches on one side. So if you look at our examples, number 1, I'm not sure why I hear all this talking going on when I'm talking. Camden, can you explain to me why that's happening? So look at example number 1, 3G minus 12 equals 9G. So in this case, are all my pouches on one side and my numbers on one side? No. I've got pouches or variables. Just put it over there. I've got variables on both sides. Okay. So how do you think I can get all of my variables on the same side? Right. Okay, what do you mean? So subtract 3G from both sides. Yeah, that's exactly what I want to do. I already know that my number is by itself on the left-hand side. So that means I want to get rid of that 3G. So I'm going to subtract 3G. If I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side.
So does the G stay when you bring that down?
Yes. You want the whole term gone. You want that whole 3G gone, right? So that you're just left with the negative 12.
Okay.
So you're subtracting by the 3G.
So the G with the 3 is gone?
Yes. So those cancel each other out, and it leaves me with just negative 12 on that side. I'm going to start drawing a line right here all the way down for my equal sign, because some of us are getting confused and putting things on opposite sides of the equal sign. Okay. So what's going over here? 6G. So negative 12 equals 6G. So at all points throughout the equation, you want something on both sides of that line. Okay? I would not have wanted to subtract 9G from this side, because that would leave me with 0 or nothing over here, and I don't want that. You always want something on both sides of that equal sign. Okay?
Yes.
On Carlos.
Wait.
Okay, what's next? Yeah, you can go.
Can you divide both sides by 6?
Yeah, then I want to divide both sides by 6 so that I can get G alone. So those cancel. And G is equal to what?
Negative 2.
Negative 2. Do I need to check my answer?
Yes.
Yes. The checking is a little bit different now because I'm plugging in -2 for G. Remember, I have 2 G's, so that means I'm going to be plugging in twice. So you're not going to have something equal to a number like we're used to. So that means I have 3 times -2 minus 12 equals 9 times -2. So now in this case, you have to solve both sides. You don't just have to solve one side. Okay. So I know 9 times -2 is -18, right? So then what is 3 times -2 minus 12? -6 minus 12, which is -18. Okay. Yeah. You should be doing all of this. Everything that we do on notes is what I'm expecting to see on your homework. Questions on that? Yes, ma'am.
Can we use calculators to do that?
Yeah, we can use calculators on anything now.
Exactly, so stop asking.
Yeah, I think we ask every day.
You guys, every single day.
Well, not her, but somebody asks every day.
Every single day.
All right,
Not me.
number 2. 14m equals 18 plus 12m. So what is my first step going to be here? Good. I want to subtract 12m from both sides. So then over here on the left, I'm left with a 2m. Good. Equals 18 because those 12m's cancel.
And then you divide by 2 equals 9.
Good.
Equals that.
M equals 9.
Guys, stop.
M equals 9.
Thank you. So I'm checking. That means I have 14 times 9 equals 18 plus 12 times 9. So what is 14 times 9?
108.
126. And then 18 plus 12 times 9?
She has a calculator.
I really wish y'all would stop talking. This is embarrassing because this is going to go on my Google Classroom for everybody to watch. And y'all are acting like this. Stop. What is different about number 3? Taya. Yes, it's got constants on both sides and it had variables on both sides. So do I need to solve for my variables or my constants first? Or does it matter? You can. It doesn't matter. As long as you get variables on one side and numbers on the other side. I always like to take care of the variables first, but it's whatever you prefer. So in this case, if I want to do my variables, which one do I want gone?
The 14.
Why would I want to take that 14J away?
Oh, because you always want something on one side, or one with a...
Yes, but why would you prefer to take the 14 away than the 27 away?
Because it would be a negative number if you took away 27 from 14, and you always want it to be positive.
It doesn't matter if I have a negative number, but a lot of us make mistakes when there's negatives involved, right? So if you can keep a positive number, that's why we prefer to move this 14 over, because it keep everything positive. Okay. You still would get the same exact answer if you subtracted 27J from both sides. You would just have a negative that you're dealing with. All right, so on the left-hand side, 27J minus 14J, what does that give me? 13J minus 6 equals what? 7. So now do I have all my variables on one side? Yes, but I don't have all of my constants on one side, do I? No, I need that to happen. So what can I do?
Add 6.
Add 6 to both sides. So then on the left-hand side, I'm left with a 13J. And what on the right?
13.
13.
Divide 13.
Then divide both sides by 13.
Just J equals 1.
J equals 1.
J equals 1. Okay, if I'm checking, have 27 times 1 minus 6 equals 14 times 1 plus 7. So somebody do the left-hand side and somebody else do the right-hand side and see if we match. 21 on the left?
21. Yes, it does 21. Will it always check like that?
If you got it right, yeah. If you solved for J wrong, then no. And that's why we check it, so that if it doesn't come out like that, then you know you did something wrong. Questions? Okay, number 4. What do I want to do first? Yeah, if I subtract 11W on both sides, then I'm still going to have a positive over here. So what do I have on the left-hand side?
You get negative 1 plus 8 W.
Okay. And what about on the right-hand side?
23.
Just 23. So my variables are on one side, which is what I want. But what else do I want?
To take away that negative 1.
I want all those constants. So I want to add, I'm going to add 1 because it's the negative 1. So we're going to do the opposite. So that leaves me with 8W equals 24.
Then divide 8 by 3.
Then divide both sides by 8. Good. Questions on that? Okay, so if I check it, that means I'm plugging 3 in for both W's. So negative 1 times 19 times 3 equals 11 times 3 plus 23.
On the left side? 56. 56? 56.
Good.
Yeah.
56 for both. Questions? Okay, does it matter if I have fractions in number 5? No, fractions are still numbers. So everything is still the same. What do I want to do first? Subtract 1/4 because 1/4 is smaller than 3/4, right? So what is 3/4 minus 1/4? 2/4 or 1/2. So I'm going to go ahead and just write 1/2. So I have 1/2 minus 6 equals 10. And now what? Add 6 to both sides. Okay, so that leaves me with 1/2 y equals 16. And now what? Divide by 1/2. What else could I have done?
So you divide by 6, yeah.
No.
Multiply slot. Yeah, you multiply.
Yeah, I could have either divided by 1/2 or I could have multiplied both sides by 2. Because remember, if I'm dividing by a fraction, that means I have to keep change flip, which is the same thing as saying 16 times 2. So you can either divide by 1/2 or multiply by 2 and you will get the same answer. So what is that answer? 32. Okay, so to check, I have 3/4 times 32 minus 6 equals 1/4 times 32 plus 10.
That is you.
On the left?
42 and 1 is 18. It's 18. I knew it.
Okay, what about on the right then?
18.
You can simply just plug all that in your calculator. Questions? Hey, what about decimals? Same thing. So what do I want to do first?
Minus 2C.
No, plus 3C.
Which one do we want to do?
Subtract 2.
Plus 3C?
Yeah, plus
Okay.
3C.
We can do that. So what do I have on the left?
5C plus 7.5.
Okay. And then on the right,
6.2.
just 6.2.
Yeah,
Then you want to subtract 7.5 for both.
Now I want to subtract 7.5 from both. So I'm going to have 5C equals what?
1.3.
13.
Should be negative 1.3.
Oh,
Check it again.
I
Check.
put a negative 6.2.
Oh, yeah.
And then how do I solve for C?
That equals 0.22.
Close.
1/3 divided by 5 is
It's a negative 1/3 divided by 5. So then it's negative 0.26. So if I check it, I have 2 times negative 0.26 plus 7.5 equals 6.2 minus 3 times negative 0.26. I'm running out of words.
6.96. 6.98.
Which one?
I got 6.98.
Somebody check, because I heard 0.96 and 0.98.
I typed it in 2 times negative. I'll check it again. It's still 16.98.
8. You said 6 the first time, so it is 8. Okay. And then on the right hand side?
6.898.
Questions? Good? Oh, what do I keep getting stuck on? Okay, we're just going to do number 7 on the back, and then we'll be done. All right, so it says define a variable and write an equation. And then it says to solve it as well. All right, so if it says twice a number is 60 more than 5 times the number. First off, how do I write twice a number?
2 times
2 times n. What does that is tell me? That it's equal to, right? And it's equal to 60 more than 5 times a number.
So 5 times 5 plus 60.
Good. That then tells me to switch it. So it's 5n plus 60. So that's my equation that they're asking for. Now, if it's asking what is the number, that means I have to solve it, right? So what do I do first?
You subtract
Subtract what in?
2n.
If I subtract 2n, will I have anything on that side of the equation?
5n.
Yeah, 5 n.
Whoops.
Not 60.
60.
I want to subtract 5n.
Negative 3n
Negative 3n.
equals 60.
Yes, so then I have negative 3n equals 60. Because those
Divided
cancel.
by negative 3, so n
What
equals
should get you? 20.
negative 20.
Wait.
Negative
Yeah, negative 20.
So you always want to make sure that you have something on both sides of that equation. So you don't want to subtract the variable that is completely by itself. You want to subtract the variable that has a constant tied to it.
Yes, sir.
We can. So that means I'd have 2 times negative 20.
It's negative 40.
Negative 40, and then the other side is easy class.
So that is negative 40.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Questions? All right. Before we get started on the whole